So this might be live now. I think I'm live. There we go. I can even see myself. That's good. This is working. Let's assume this is working. I'll debug issues, maybe re-record if it's not working. But anyway, there we go. This is it. Yesterday, I took two projectors that looked somewhat like this, and they had two different problems. One projector had basically lost blue, and the other projector would start to power on and then it would just stop, and so it would stop very early in the process, so the fans wouldn't start, it didn't emit any light, so yeah, I don't know how far I got through that process. I went through and diagrammed sort of where the problem was most likely to be based on all the different symptoms. This was for the projector which had just lost the blue. The projector that had just lost blue. It turned out to be the LED. So let's have a quick look at that. This here is the LED that came out of it. And if you've seen these before, it should be fairly apparent what is the problem. Let's just grab one that is known and good. Here we go. Actually, this one's even better. This here, what is that telling me? That's Firefox being helpful. So here's a better indication of what it should look like. So you can see here, the whole lens is clear, and you can see all the way down to the LED. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Good. Okay, so there's that. This one, it's not clear. You cannot see through to the LED. If you have a look on the bottom, you can see the lens is absolutely singed on the bottom. So this could have, this was still emitting some light. How much power it still had remaining, I don't know. But at the minimum, it was definitely obscured from how much it could put out because of this. I imagine that was probably acting at a fraction of its original ability. But you can also notice that the lens is actually boiled. That just blows my mind. It is plastic, but even still. So one of the things that I observed when I was disassembling the whole thing was that the thermal paste, I was going to call it CPU paste, which isn't necessarily the right term at this moment. The thermal paste, when I took this out, it just came, when I disassembled it from here, it just came straight off without any arguments whatsoever. So, yeah, my suspicion is what's happened is the thermal paste has failed, and that has meant that it was not able to cool the LED enough. LED couldn't get rid of its heat, and then probably at that point is when it started to cause the lens to fail. Probably... Yeah, I think I'm sticking with that as my first choice, because my other choice was, well, hey, maybe the LED failed and the process of the failing caused more heat, which caused the lens to go. But the fact that it was still emitting some light right up to the end makes it a bit less likely. Having said that, well, hey, these are usually made up of multiple LEDs. It's not just one LED there. And it could be that some of them failed, and then the remaining ones were taking all of the current that was allocated to them, and therefore getting much hotter in the process. I'm speculating at this point, but like I say, my first choice is that the thermal paste failed. Another possibility is that the thermal paste failed as a result of the heat being produced by the LED. I still think that's less likely. I think probably the amount of heat that would be required to do that is probably still below what was being put out here. Another thing of interest to observe here is you can see here this heatsink is dedicated for blue. If we come over here, you can see all of this heatsink. Is that in the shot? Yes, it is. All of this heatsink is dedicated for green and red. That is all that heatsink does. I don't know why these are so disproportionate from each other. Other than space constraints, which I think is definitely a legitimate motivator, I can't see why these are so different. I would have thought that the blue would be putting out quite a lot of heat. However, maybe the amount of light that comes out of a blue LED versus the amount of heat, maybe it's much more efficient than the older red and green LEDs. So maybe that's why less of a heatsink is needed. I don't know. But it is the one that failed first. In any case, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to reassemble this projector for two reasons. One, it means that I'm not missing any parts, so then yeah, I know I've got everything and I know how it all goes together in the future, because it may well be quite a while before I touch this again. The other thing is there's a very small chance. So this projector is the one that would not power on. It would like power on a little bit and then it just wouldn't go any further. So there's a very small chance that just simply the fact that I've disassembled it and then I reseat everything, maybe it's going to start working. I think that's kind of dreaming. I don't think it's going to work. As for where I think the problem is, I think it's either this board or it's this board. I don't think it's any of these other components. I suppose it could also be the DLP chip. The DLP chip is right there. I'm so tempted to take that off and have a quick look. I shouldn't, but I'm going to, because I think that'll be really fascinating. Let's have a quick look. You saw it here first. Well, no, you probably didn't, but hey, here we go. Get off. Okay. What a weird setup. Oh, interesting. So what's happening there is we've got this this heatsink, which is it's literally got a and the thermal paste is on this. The actual contact area is tiny. Interesting. So that's them trying to get the heat out and away while having a small contact area and still being able to do all the electronics around it. Now, can I just move this? Yes. Whoa. Wow. Oh, I've just committed a sin. Okay. I might have just stuffed it. And the reason why I say that is you have a look at these pins here versus these pins here. I have to get that very precisely lined up to make this work again. So, and all of those contacts need to be good. Okay, well, since I've come this far, let's just get rid of all of that thermal paste off there, because I'll put on new paste before reassembling it. So since I've come this far, let's just see if I can get rid of this thermal paste here so I don't drop it into the projector. I didn't expect to be going this far in this video. These are the wrong ones to use for this. Give me one sec. Okay, let's try this. Okay. This is absolutely tiny. I expected it to be the size of the circuit board. Goodness me, it's no wonder they're having trouble getting resolution into these things if they're this small. I would have thought it would be like 4 times the size of that. Goodness me. Huh. Can you see that on the camera? I'm going to bring this a bit closer. I'm actually seeing... There we go. I'm seeing parts of my room. Anyway, I'm going to get this back in before I introduce too... Oh, shoot. Did I do that? Hopefully that's glass in the front. There's not really much reason for it to be. I might have just contacted some of the front of it with metal. Okay. And have I got that the wrong way? Yes. Cool. Okay, right. So at this point, I need to repaste this because otherwise there's no hope of it working. And I'm doing that off camera. Let's just bring that back over. What's going on here? Why is this so hard? Ah, this might have been a thermal pad rather than thermal paste. That's interesting. I'm not going to be able to replace the thermal pad, but I will do it with paste, and hopefully it doesn't leak everywhere. I wonder if I should have cleaned that up a bit more. Because that's going... Yeah, I really should. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. I also shouldn't have just put that face down like that because it'll dirty the pins. But I am there now. Goodness me. This is sketchy. So definitely don't do this if you intended to have the thing running again. I would like to, but at the moment I think the chances are very low. Okay, let's put this back in. All right, let's try this again. The mounting is very, very secure. Like it really wedges in there. So there's a better chance than I thought that the pins will line up. But I still wouldn't want to be guaranteeing to anyone that this is going to work. This is probably overdoing it a little bit. I might even just wipe off just a tad. That will squish and spread out as it goes. I'm going to call it at that. It would be so funny if this works. Well, funny is probably not the right word. Maybe amazing. Beautiful. Well, we've come this far. I didn't intend. I meant for this just to be a summary video with me doing a little quick summary of what happened yesterday. But now this has actually just got interesting. I'm going to put the blue LED back in. I'm going to put the broken LED from the other one back in, should I say. The rationale behind that is I want a complete circuit. This will mean that, well, hey, blue doesn't work on this projector. But hey, let's give it a go. If it does work, then, well, hey, I will order a replacement piece, and that will be good. That will be a good problem to have. I'm going to try this way, which is probably how they assembled the thing to begin with. That's it. Right, I need to take care of that. Look at that lens. I don't know how much you can see it, but that lens is messed up. That one's ready. The other thing I'm curious about is how did they do this PCB so that it would conduct the heat well enough to be effective? It is, as far as I can tell, it is not the same as, oh, look at that. You can actually see it here. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the camera. Possibly not, no. It's basically two layers. We've got one giant side of copper and then a very, very thin PCB on top of that. That makes sense. Cool. Missed. The other thing of interest today is normally when I'm streaming, I'm doing it directly from, I'm basically doing all sorts of compositing and stuff on my laptop before it gets sent off to YouTube. Today I'm just doing a very simple one straight from the webcam and using the Yeti mic. And I'm just wanting to see how it comes across, like what the frame rate's like, what the audio's like. And yeah, it's basically a, hey, how does my hardware perform under ideal circumstances? And then I can go back and see what I should be able to achieve. Yeah, then I can go back and see what I should be able to achieve in the in my normal method. Now, I've just spotted a problem. That's why I lost my train of thought there. These springs should be under those screws. So I'm just going to fix that. Cool. Done. Okay. Right, let's reassemble this thing. Now, I saw the screws for this just a moment ago. Okay, that's fine. Let's just get rid of that. Gosh, we've been going for 21 minutes already. Let's not let that drag on too long. Don't do that. There we go. I just head-butted the camera. We have 1, 2. That's good. Let's get this on. Now, while we're here, what type of screw is that? See, I took off that screw. I think I've just stolen a screw. I'm trying to think where that came from. It's not those. I wonder if this recording is stereo. See, what does the top of those look like? Let's just check something here. I know where those screws came. Okay, right, so I need to undo these. There are 2 screws I've forgotten to put in. And I have lost a screw somewhere along the lines. It's not completely important, but I prefer not to be losing screws. Oh, 1 more there. In fact, I lost 2 screws along the way. Let's just check it's not under the laptop here. Doesn't seem to be. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, in both cases, not incredibly important, just a shame. Right, I need to go back here. So what I forgot to put in was the screws which hold the LED down. I'm doing it all with the heatsink at the moment, which is enough, but I really would like to be putting things back the way they came. I just stuck the screwdriver into the lens. That's very professional. Here we go. So Oh my goodness, I made so many mistakes on this one. So the other thing I just realised I didn't do is I didn't put the thermal paste on this, so it would definitely fail very quickly if I was to leave it like that. Oh, I made a point of repasting everything on the other one, including the blue one. I put quite a bit of effort into, so that won't be a problem in the other one. But yeah, I definitely should have put on more here. This one I'm not going to go as high as I did on the other one because then I won't have to blend off. Oh, you can sort of see that I'm a little bit more lax with this one, given that it's I'm not expecting it to work. What's gone wrong there? Okay. How did I do in the edge? I did all right. You sound surprised. I actually thought I went high. I've gone a little bit low. Once again, I'm not too concerned because this one is dead already anyway. But yeah, I've definitely gone a little low. Oh well, that's fine. It's good to know for the future. Right, let's put this back together again. Ah, that's cool. I'm not sure if you can see it there, but there's some little guiding pins just in there that, yeah, guide it into the right place. Okay, let's get this all finished up. I've got another task I need to move on to. Oops, Daisy. Perhaps that was a bit careless. Let's pop. This time I'm going to pop this on before I've done everything up. Yes, that was a bit easier. Right, this is the plug. DLP is now connected. Let's connect up the LEDs. Blue, green, and red. Now these go on the screw holes closest to the LEDs. I noticed that there's some, so this is the one that's going to be missing. Ooh, that's actually fairly important. I'm gonna just see if I've got a screw that will fit that. I think I will. Small screws. Okay, so the reason why that one's important is I want to make sure that this connection to the DLP chip is secure. So that's promising. I think that's the size. Let's try this. That is not the size. Beautiful. Okay, so that means I can still use this screw over here. And one of these. I wonder if the microphone's picking up that motorbike in the distance. Is there anything else that I want to check at this moment? I need to connect up this panel because otherwise I'm not going to have this available. So yeah, let's get this all finished up. Whoops, a daisy hit the microphone again. Is it on an angle? It is on an angle. Why is it on an angle? There we go. That's not what I wanted. What did I want? Really zig-a-zig. That's close enough. Hit my head on the camera again. Okay. There's that. Cool. So let's hook this. Have I done that the wrong way? Why am I? Oh, okay. I'm being an idiot. Oops. This is the fiddliest part of the whole thing. So one of the things I wanted to comment on is this has actually been one of the most gratifying repairs that I've done for two reasons. One, it's always nice to have success, but two, it's so beautifully assembled. It's and what I mean by that is that it's all designed to be repaired. You see a lot of stuff these days. You look at the trends with phone assembly and all that type of stuff, and they really aren't designed to be repaired. And it's a pleasure to work on. It's a little bit frustrating when you don't know what you're doing with it, but once you know how it's hooked together and what you need to do, it really is a pleasure to work on. So it really does make it more likely that I'll go with Asus stuff in the future. Let's see what happens. No, that's not surprising. So that's good to know. I will just finish reassembling this, and then I know that I have a complete set of parts, minus one screw. I remember I've replaced one. But yeah, I have a complete set of parts and how they go together and all of that type of stuff for repairs in the future. So with that in mind, I've just got 4 screws to put in. There's no point keeping the video going for that, because that will become quite boring. Yeah, I think that should be the end of this. So have a lovely day. Thank you for joining me.